How do we reclaim our kids?
I like the question, Nate. It's not one that I was expecting. I mean, I'm thinking about farming and water reclamation projects and how do we reclaim our kids?
Tell me you're from
I mean,
Southern
they're
Idaho without telling me you're from Southern Idaho.
well, yeah, they have some water issues going on up there right now. But
Oh boy.
but back to the kids. How do we Did you actually ask how do we reclaim our
Do we
kids?
reclaim our kids?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Does this have to do with time?
it has to do with everything. One of the things I love to bring up to my classes at school is just asking them the question, what's your most valuable commodity? And it's very fun to get them to come to the realization that their attention is the most valuable commodity that they have, where they choose to put their attention. And we live in a world that, and this goes beyond just the digital stuff. This is like, there's so many distractions, and their attention is something that they get. Steve, I'm back here.
Hey, what are what are you even talking about? Sorry, could you go over that again?
That's exactly what we're talking about right there. No, that the attention is up for grabs. And when you think about this, we don't pay to get apps like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You don't pay for those apps. And getting kids to realize that the reason you don't pay for those is that they're not interested in you paying for the app. They're interested in your attention, and then they sell your attention to somebody else. And that's how they make their money.
And they collect all your information.
Oh, yeah, that too. Because hey, but if you give them your attention, you also you're more likely to give them information. But this is the battle, and this isn't a campaign against digital stuff. That's not what the point of this episode is. But it's that understanding that, hey, that's how you build a relationship with your kids, is you spend that time where they have your attention and you have their attention, and you earn each other's attention.
I like it. So in this episode 51, we're in the second of a 4-episode series where we're highlighting this key concept that's in the book, The Good Life by Marc Schulz and Robert Waldinger. And if you haven't listened to the last episode, that's kind of a good overview of the secret of happiness, which is
Secret of your teens' happiness and yours, but
sure, it's the relationship.
yes.
It's building, sometimes you like to use the phrase building a magical relationship. I think that's because you like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff.
I like that music a lot.
Although I am a Dune fan now. I'm a Dune fan now.
Yes, you are. How many
yes,
times
but
have you seen it now?
Yeah, twice.
Oh.
Yeah.
For you to see a movie twice, though, that's like the average person seeing a movie 8 times.
Right. Okay, so hey, distraction. Total distraction right there.
And Dune has your attention.
So I've got some interesting research to drop on you as we are talking about how to reclaim our kids in this world where everything is fighting for their attention and our attention.
And honest.
I mean, this is probably, well, it shouldn't put a smile on your face because I don't know that it's...
Anytime you do research, it puts a smile on my face. Doesn't matter what the research says, it just puts a smile on my face when you go nerd mode.
Let's just hit some of these and see where it takes us.
Let's do it.
Studies show a significant decline in the number of families eating meals together. For example, a report from the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University, they found that the frequency of family dinners has decreased over the years. The American College of Pediatricians highlight that only about 30% of families eat dinner together every night. I actually would have thought that it would have been less, Nate. Less than 30%.
Yeah. It's interesting, and you can always wonder, well, what do they count eating together, or what considers to be dinner together? But the whole that's a low number, and if it's lower than that, that's even sadder. And even if it's a little bit higher than that, even if only half of them are eating dinner together, that's sad. Because what do we do at dinner?
Well, we obviously eat, but I'm guessing that this really is not about the food.
It's not about the food.
Although,
This is part of why we love food, though, because that's when we connect. Like food is a connector. It brings people together. Well, part of what we love about food is that we love that we eat when we're around other people. And that's the real magic that comes from having dinner together, having a meal together, is that it's that time spent in close proximity to each other where you talk about your day. You share what went on. You ask questions of each other. You vent together a little bit. Sometimes the family gossip session is a great way of connecting. Did you hear what the Joneses did? Did you smell that coming out of their house the other day?
well, I mean, if kids just mentioned what they saw or something that happened at school that day, you could fill up the entire time.
Yeah. And this is where, like, we have the QOC, the tool that
Mm,
we love to share with people
the
and invite
question
them.
only, the question only conversation.
Yep, that's just one of the free tools that we've got on our website. But that that tool can actually be really useful in prepping for like some meal conversations. Plan out some of the questions. What are the great questions that really get your kids talking? What's the funniest thing you saw at school today? A question like
Yeah,
that can.
that's a question you might only ask that one time, based on the answer that you get. You
Oh,
may
I
not
don't know.
ever.
I think it's always a great one. And again, and that leads to a perfect opportunity for you as a parent to model good emotional regulation. No matter what they say, you don't panic, you don't freak out. You just maintain your neutral perspective and you ask some good follow-up questions. And it's yeah, those family meals can be huge. And it
Okay,
goes a
I'm gonna
long way towards reclaiming our kids and our relationships with them.
right. We're gonna go through some practical tips and a little bit of the psychology of how you make this happen as a parent, because it's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to make it happen. But there's two other research bits of research that I would like to present to you, because I think they also factor into why perhaps well, the first one anyway factors into why maybe we don't spend as much time eating together, and that is just in the impact of work and school schedules and extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So this comes from the journal Family Relations, and I mean, the layman's summary is that parents generally are working longer hours in this generation, and so that leads to less family time. And for the kids, they are also spending more time working and more time in extracurricular activities. So this contributes to less time together.
Hmm.
What say you, Mr. Crandall?
Um, that especially for the parents that listen to this podcast, because we focus in on those relationships with the performing teens and the performing, that they're doing all their things. So it can be a real challenge. And with the key is intention,
Hmm.
intentionally creating those times. And it might have to be a meal on the fly, but if you're eating on the fly, but you're eating together, you're still eating together. So but I think that's what a lot of our parents are probably struggling with is we're so busy. It's probably
A
less
badge of
about.
busyness.
Mhm. And the badge of busyness is it's fun to think about, but we are busy, but you fight that with intention and making it a real priority. Say, hey, we're going to eat together. We don't have a lot of time. You got this, and this. We got a half-hour window right here at 5:30. Dinner's on at 5:30, and we're eating together. And if you prioritize it, you can help manage it. And sometimes the busy schedule almost makes it more important to the people because it's like an island of rest in the busyness.
Yeah, I like that. Island of rest.
Yeah. That's important to find those little places to rest after you've worked really hard on something.
Get a little shade, get a little beach time, get a little family hammock time. This one goes along with what you were just talking about, and also particularly with the mealtime. So this comes from the Annenberg Public Policy Center. They found that screen time has increasingly encroached on family time, particularly during meals. So basically what they're saying is the number of digital devices, the proliferation.
Good job.
Got to put in a 5. Is that a 5-syllable word? But all these digital devices and social media has led specifically to more individualized leisure activities. So what that does is it takes away the face-to-face family interactions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one because,
how do we reclaim our kids in this age of digital distraction?
the phone bowl.
The phone bowl. Is this like the phone basket? I've never heard of the phone
bowl basket box.
I have heard of this.
Tell us about it.
I tried it unsuccessfully with my adult children.
But Dad, I've got important business.
No, I think this is a good thing to talk about because we're combining the two things.
Yeah.
If we're thinking of the same thing, this is basically where you mutually agree to put your phones in a basket. You're basically moving them away from the eating area.
Yeah.
So that you aren't tempted. You aren't checking. You aren't, somebody is saying something you're not necessarily interested in. And so you decide to go get a hit of dopamine on Instagram.
It's
Instagram.
It's funny how addicted I am to my phone. And I don't really I like to live in a world where I think I'm not. And I love the times when I check myself. And like just last night, it's a good example. I was just going to do a little yoga day with my wife. We went and ran and grabbed a froyo. And
I thought you said yoga.
No.
You said yogurt? I thought you said yoga. Froyo.
We are giant frozen yogurt fans.
Frozen yogurt.
Oh, yeah. Man, if you ever want to see me happy, just give me a gift card to a froyo place. And I give it to my wife.
I've noticed the ice cream and the froyo people. It's kind of like snowboarders and skiers. They'll duke it out over this.
We do ice cream too. We actually do both. We're one of those people. But anyway, I made the intentional choice to leave my phone home. And
what?
I took my wallet off the back of my phone. I took my card with me, but I left my phone at home and ended up spending about an hour off of it. And it's awkward, but it's just relieving in a way. And sometimes you have to work hard to get somebody to do that. I know I have to work hard on myself to do that. My wife nags me a little bit to do it sometimes.
Where did this come from? Because I know, where did this decision to leave it come from?
Because I'm on it a lot. And I just I'm aware of that, and I know
I can vouch for this. I can validate this.
And I can come up with a bunch of decent excuses and reasons why I'm on it all the time.
Let's hear them.
Because I'm really making a difference for people by using it.
You are.
I text
a lot of people. You are in
and
constant connection. You're in constant connection with people.
Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think of that as a bad thing. And I try to add, like, I'm intentionally trying to add value through what I'm sending them. And so I can have, all the good reasons to be on it, but I have to put a higher premium on the face-to-face relationships and making sure that I'm investing in those. And I think here's where we sell our kids short. Kids are smart enough to realize this. They've grown up on their phones, and so they already are familiar with the reality of, I'm on this too much. When I ask my students, they almost to a person will tell me that they're on their phones too much. They know it. And having an excuse or a reason to get off of it, even for a little while, can be incredibly beneficial for them. As a parent, you're empowering them to do something that they want to do and that they know that they need to do, but they might be having a hard time doing it. It's a hard
Don't you?
decision for me to make as an adult. It's a harder
Sure.
decision for a kid to do.
Well, and don't you think as parents, if we are admitting that we're on our phones too much, which I would say that's probably the truth for most parents,
Yes, I'm not alone.
then and I'm not either. If we are making that admission to them, then I think it's much easier for them to accept that, okay, we're going to, like, for example, the phone basket. We might as well talk about family traditions.
Well,
I think this is a part of the whole relationships and thing and being happy and reclaiming our kids, reclaiming our family time. So how could you marry those two ideas?
Can we, before we go to traditions, in the last episode, we talked about mutual care and responsibility and how it's hard because often we care a lot for our kids, but we don't feel like they care for us. This phone basket idea, this conversation, can actually be a really good place to create this mutual care because we're all in the same boat together with this. And we can go to our kids and say, look, I'm trying to do a better job of being present for you by getting off my phone. And when you're off yours, it helps me to be off mine. Can we do this together as a family?
I love this. You just took the frozen yogurt, you just piled on like Oreos and all sorts of stuff right there. That is good. That is
Well,
really good. I was doing some boring thing like standing in front of the table making a confession. Kids, I'm on my phone too much. I like the way you framed that. Say that again. That was really good stuff.
well, we all know, like, parents know that they're on their phones too much. Kids know that their parents are on their phone too much. And we can, as a parent, just say, hey, get off your phone. But if we're on ours, it falls flat. If I go
Get
to my
off
kids
your
and say,
phone. That's
yep,
a
we can tap into that idea of relationship building through mutual care and responsibility. I want to be on my phone less, especially when I'm around you. You're important to me and I want to be off my phone. Can you help me when we're at dinner by being off your phone? I'll be off my phone and let's do this together. That kind of approach. I don't know if I said it the exact same way, but
no, I like that. And I think as if a parent said, I would like to try this phone basket idea because it's going to really, really help me.
help me to be off my phone because you guys are important to me and I want to spend more face-to-face time with you while we're here at the table.
Right. Rather than I want you off your phone.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and go along with this too. But really, this goes back to the whole idea of parents modeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a high performance behavior right there.
It is. It taps into the importance of, when we talk about influencing our kids, being a good influence on them, we teach them how to think about themselves, others, in the world. We challenge their character, their contributions, and their connections. But the glue that holds all that influence together is role modeling the way. And when we role model the way, now, and this is an opportunity for me as a husband, as a dad, to role model the way by saying, hey, I'm on my phone too much. I want to be better because I want to connect with you. And then I put my phone in that basket and I sit down at the table and I start asking them questions and I invest in them. I connect with them.
I really like this reclamation project.
And then that becomes a tradition. And now it's a mutually agreed on thing. So to get to your idea of having these traditions, and one of the things that when we provide, one of our services is doing family coaching. And in that family coaching, we talk about family traditions and how important and significant they are for helping families to draw closer and connect with each other. And this can be one of them.
You know, Nate, I would love to hear from any of our listeners on some successful or even unsuccessful, because everything's a learning experience, but some of their experiences with trying to reclaim time together, whether it's dealing with family mealtime, trips, vacations, and if anybody has tried the phone basket or phone bowl, it would be really interesting to hear from some parents and what's working well, because I'm sure there's some ideas out there and some unique situations that we could definitely highlight in a future episode. So you could send us your questions or comments on family traditions and reclaiming your kids and their attention and your time together at create, transform, become, all one word, at gmail.com.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from parents, and maybe even if there's any kids listening, shoot, if you're a teen and you're a high performing teen and you listen to this, what are the traditions you like that your family has?
Love it. Got any final parting shots before I pick up my phone and check Facebook?
Instagram, those fun things. Now, just patience in the process. It's all about growing, and when you, just sharing that journey together, and it allows you to capture that idea of mutual care and responsibility. And, it's not about parents and teens. It's a family growing together.
Awesome. Great job, parents. We look forward to seeing you in episode 52, where we continue examining this magical secret of happiness, which is all about the R word, creating great relationships. See you, Nate.
We'll see you, Steve.
On behalf of Steve Galley, I'm Nate Crandall, and we thank you, our loyal listeners, for tuning into this episode. If you love what you're learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, we would appreciate it very much if you would leave us a 5-star review and some glowing comments. We also encourage you to share this episode with your friends and family who are parents of athletes and performers. And if you want to explore further and see what Steve and I are creating to help thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please visit our company's website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you'll find a growing number of resources to help you elevate your performance. Thank you again for your support, and we encourage you to create a magical relationship with your athlete and performer.